Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the eerie, fascinating world of Severance. Not just what the show is about, but how it reflects something deeply real into our lives. We all know the feeling sitting at your desk, doing boring work, and immediately reaching for Spotify, YouTube, or a podcast. It helps, right? But what if, just what if, your company could cut out the part of you that gets bored and just keep the part that works? Now that's the dark brilliance of Severance. Let's talk about it further. Severance is a series on Apple TV Plus that imagines a world where work-life balance is taken to the extreme. Employees at a shadowy company called Lumen Industries undergo a surgical procedure that separates their consciousness into two: a work self, also known as the innie, and a home self, also known as the outie. The innie only exists inside the office. They go to work, they leave work, only to come right back in again. No sleep, no weekends, just endless tasks. The outie, meanwhile, never remembers what they actually do in the office. They live their life thinking they have offloaded their work stress, but actually, that's not freedom, it's a complete ignorance. Now, here's where severance hits way too close to home. When we are stuck doing something tedious, maybe data entry, coding, sorting files, writing an assignment, filling in spreadsheets, what do? We hit play. It either may be music, YouTube, ambient lofi, whatsoever. Anything to drown out the monotony. This is our coping mechanism. We distract ourselves from the task. The body does the work, but the mind is somewhere else, watching a video essay, listening to a true crime broadcast, vibing to a playlist. And that's exactly the mental gap Lumen wanted to exploit. They looked at that part of us, the bored, distracted part, and said, what if we didn't just distract it, but what if we cut it out completely? The ini becomes a living distraction, a disposable, obedient version of you that exists only to do the boring stuff. You don't have to suffer because they do, every day and forever. And the more you think about it, the more it sounds little bit familiar. In real life, we have already started segregating our personality according to our situations. We go into work mode, we smile for meetings, we clock in emotionally, even if we mentally checked out. We try to separate ourselves from the pain of routine by numbing it. That's what binge working with music is. That's what doom scrolling between tasks is. You're constantly looking for ways to survive a system that's not designed with our humanity in mind. Now add things like employee surveillance, algorithmic performance tracking, or the grind set culture, and suddenly Severance feels less like fiction and more like a metaphor for modern work. Severance just literalized what we have already been doing, creating two versions of ourselves, one to suffer through the work and one to pretend it didn't even happen. The scariest part? The show doesn't ask what if corporations controlled our identity. It shows us that they already do, just little more subtly. So here's the question I want to leave you with. Would you undergo severance? Would you create a version of yourselves that lives only to do the things you find boring if it meant you never had to feel it again? Or should we be asking, why do we live in a world where we feel we need that option at all? If you found that as fascinating or terrifying as I did, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. What's your take on work life balance today? And if you have seen Severance, what stuck with you the most? Thank you for listening.